Hello, I'm Kate Irwin, Children's Program Coordinator at the Jessamine County Public Library, and today on Kids Craft at Home, we're going to be making woven bookmarks. All right, for our bookmark today, we need to gather our supplies. So we need 3 drinking straws. We need our yarn. This is a skein of variegated yarn. You can see it changes color, and that'll give you different colors to your bookmark. We're going to need some tape. We're going to need some scissors. And we're going to need some beads. Those are optional. So to begin, we're going to take our 3 straws and our tape. And we're going to peel off a piece of our tape. We're going to cut it like that. I find it easier to take a sticky side up, lay it on the table like this. Sometimes it likes to stick to your fingers. And then take your 3 straws and line up the ends like this. Lay them down on the tape. Don't put them too terribly close together. Leave a little bit of space in between. And then wrap your tape around the end like so. Now that you have your straws taped together, we need to find the end of our yarn. So find the end of your yarn. You're going to want to leave a good 6-inch tail to work with. You're going to take your tail and hold it with one hand. Hold it with your thumb against the tape side down, and you're going to start weaving. You're going to go underneath the first, over top the second, underneath the third, over top the first, underneath the second, over top the third, and so on. As you continue to weave, make sure to keep a good hold on the end of your yarn to keep your work nice and tight. After completing a few rows of weaving, push the work down to the base of the straws to form the bookmark. Continue weaving and pushing your work down to the base until you've reached the end of the straws. Once you've woven to the end of your straws, leave a few inches of yarn for a tail and cut. Now you can see that we finished weaving to the end of the straws. You can also see the first tail and the second tail. The next step is to cut 3 pieces of yarn that are longer than your straws by about 3 inches. So there's the first piece, our second piece, and our third piece. And now we're finished with our yarn, so you can set that aside. Our next step is to take our first piece of yarn and to feed it into the first straw until it comes out the bottom. It's important that between each step you separate your 2 tail pieces from the yarn that goes through the straws. Now take the second piece of yarn, and thread it through the second straw all the way till the end. Making sure to separate again your yarn pieces that go through the straws from the tails. Now take the third string and thread it through the third straw until it comes out the other end as well. Once again, you'll want to make sure that you have your two tails and your 3 pieces of yarn on each end, laid out and straight. Now we're ready to start transferring our bookmark from our straw loom onto our 3 pieces of yarn. The first step in doing that is to tie off one end. The first end we're going to tie off is the one without the tape. This end is taped, this end is not, and that's where we will start. Begin by taking the first 2 pieces of yarn threaded through the first 2 straws and tie them together using a simple knot. Next, take the piece of yarn threaded through the last straw and your tail and tie them together. Check to make sure your yarn has not come back through the straw. Our next step is to take the first 2 pieces of yarn and the second 2 pieces of yarn and secure them together with a knot. Check to make sure your yarn has not pulled back through the straws and that your knot is secure. Now we're ready to begin removing our bookmark from our straw loom. Start by holding the taped end of the straws in your hand and slowly push the weaving off of the straws. Continue working your weaving off of your loom until it is completely transferred onto the yarn. Once you've reached the end, take your 3 pieces of yarn in one hand and adjust your bookmark. Now it's time to finish up our bookmark. Find your first string, your second string, your third string, and your tail. Take your first string and your tail and tie them together with a simple knot. Now take your third string and your fourth string and tie them together with a knot. Lastly, tie all 4 strings together in a knot to secure your bookmark. Our final step is to decorate our bookmark. You can take beads and tie them to the ends of your strings and secure them with a knot. And now you have a handmade woven bookmark.